Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I got a special lecture for you regarding social media. This is actually a lecture that I presented to a local dental society down here in Southern California. It's going to talk about what I've learned in the past 5 years using social media and how I think it's going to evolve in the future and how to grow your practice using social media. So it's an awesome lecture. I spent a lot of time making it, and I think it's going to provide a lot of value for those of you that want to listen. Okay? So the lecture title today is Utilizing Social Media to Grow Your Practice. And the goal of the lecture is going to be to provide actionable tips that will help your practice succeed through social media. Okay, so actionable underlined because I want you guys, after the lecture is done, to take action immediately with my ideas and concepts. Okay, so who am I? My name is Dr. Sami Shahal, or Sammy. I work at a practice in Southern California. I make YouTube videos. I love dentistry. I love what I do, and I work alongside my mother, who's been in practice for 33 years. This is my wife to the left. This is an awesome photo that I took outside of Royce Hall at UCLA School of Dentistry, or UCLA. It's just one of my favorite photos of her, and I wanted to share that with you guys. And this is my mother to the left. Like I said, she's been practicing for about 33 years. She's a mentor. She teaches me not only about the technical aspects of dentistry, but a lot about team leadership, how to grow your practice, and how to communicate with your patients, and so on and so forth. So she's an awesome inspirational figure in my life. My social media journey. So I started making YouTube videos in around 2015 or 2014 or so. And originally I made YouTube videos that were focused on patient education. Since then, it has evolved, and I make videos that are also to dentists. But when I originally started making YouTube videos, it was because I wanted to have some exposure on the internet. I knew YouTube would continue to be a massive media stream that people, an area where content creators post their content, and I wanted to get on it before it took off. Okay. And when I made my videos, originally I didn't have a lot of time. I made only one video a year, it looks like. And then if you look at the graph, you can see I started to make more and more videos. And towards the tail end of the graph, you kind of see it, this exponential growth, this trajectory towards the top. And so it's growing a lot in the past couple weeks, and I hope it continues to grow. To date, I have about 600,000 views. It's kind of crazy to think about that 600,000 people have watched the content that I made. I'm incredibly humbled and honored that that has happened, and I've learned a lot along the way. And about, every day I get about 2,500 views on videos that I've made in the past. The awesome thing about YouTube is that once you put your content on YouTube, it lives there forever. It's searchable content, so videos that I made a long time ago are still being searched today. Okay? So the four main topics we're going to talk about is building authority. So how do you position yourself as an expert in your profession? And for us, I would say most of us, it's going to be dentistry. Connecting with others in this post-COVID-19 era, how are we able to connect with our patients? How are we able to connect with our colleagues? And why is this important? And then supplementing income. If we're having a social media lecture, we also have to talk about how social media can generate revenue outside of dentistry or outside of getting new patients. And there's a way with, affiliates and brand deals and stuff like that. So we're going to jump into that a little bit. And then getting started. What type of equipment do you need to get started? What type of platforms should you consider getting on? How do you make content for these platforms? And we'll talk a little bit about that as well. So, there are two main questions you have to ask yourself before getting on any social media platform. And the two questions you have to ask yourself are, what is your purpose, and who is your target audience? So what is your purpose? Are you a student that maybe just graduated and your purpose is similar to mine, where you just want to, maybe develop some social media presence until you're able to acquire or start a new dental practice? Is that the ultimate goal of getting onto social media? Or is your purpose to connect with other dentists across the nation? There's so many talented, incredible dentists out there. Do you want to connect with these people and develop relationships with these people? Or if you have a practice, is your purpose to just get new patients into the door? New patients that will find you through these social media channels and decide to give you guys a shot with their treatment and with their care. Okay, so what is your purpose? You really want to pinpoint or have a very narrow focus. And once you have that focus, you'll be able to create a more, I would say, a better social media platform. Okay? Who is your target audience? Are you practicing on the beach where holistic dentistry is more of a popular thing? Or do you work in a family practice where you want just families to come in and you want to treat them for the next 33 years? Or are you looking just to do cosmetic cases, veneer cases, where someone comes in, you do the veneer case, and that's the end of the experience with them, but you love doing these type of procedures? Or are you doing braces, or so on and so forth? So who exactly are you targeting? Are they young patients? Are they older patients? Is it somewhere in between? So you really want to define who is your target audience before building out your platform as well. So building authority, once again, how do you position yourself as an expert in the field of dentistry? And I would argue that there are three main ways to do that. There's dental photography, so taking awesome clinical photos. There's procedural videos. I believe this is the wave of the future, meaning recording videos of procedures, being really transparent and showing how these procedures take place. And then there's educational content. Not recording, procedure videos or taking dental photos, but just talking about what you know. We spent a lot of time in our schooling that maybe that should be something that we consider as well. So throughout the lecture, I'm going to be presenting you guys with a lot of amazing people that have done it really well on certain platforms. And I would just encourage you guys to follow them and check out what they're all about. Because they're awesome and they're my mentors and inspiration. Okay, so the first one I want to talk about is this channel called Manesh Patel Dentistry. So Dr. Manesh Patel, I believe he's based in London, and if you look at his channel, he has the most amazing dental photographs, really close-up photos of teeth, preparation photos, beautiful porcelain, rubber dam, and I love his photos. I love watching him and his channel grow. And I know a lot of you guys are going to be thinking, well, Sammy, is this really going to attract new patients into our office? And I would argue that to some degree, yes. I think there are people out there that really want to know exactly how dentistry takes place. I think our patients are educated, and I think that from my experience, I'm seeing people that, they really want to know the process. So to some degree, yes. But what you guys may not know about Dr. Patel is that he does a photography course for dentists based in the UK. I believe in the UK, so don't quote me on that. But he does a photography course. So if you look at these photos, I want to take a course from him as well. So if you think about it, he does have a really defined purpose in terms of, maybe selling his photography course to dentists, and he has a clearly defined target audience. And I think when I look at his channel overall, it makes sense to me. So it's just an awesome channel. I would definitely encourage you guys to check him out. Another person who does it really, really well is Dr. Matt Najad from Beverly Hills, West Hollywood. He has a practice where he does a lot of veneer cases. And he also, he's a biomimetic dentist. He teaches biomimetic dentistry, how to use a rubber dam, bonding protocols. My mother actually took a course with him and absolutely loved it, a veneer cementation course with him. So an amazing dentist. And when you look at his channel, you see these beautiful before and after photos from the commissure of the lip to the commissure of the lip, full smile photos. And, maybe not a lot of close-up photos or preparation photos, but photos that I would say would attract patients that want dental veneers. You know, if I was a patient and I was scrolling on this page and I was considering veneers, it would be very likely that I would schedule a consultation with Dr. Najad. So he has a very clear purpose, a very clear focus when building this channel out. And I just love what he's done with the page. And I would imagine that this channel has helped him do what he loves to do, which is dental veneers. So when you look at these photos, it can sometimes be a bit discouraging because the photos are absolutely incredible. How the light reflects off the teeth, you know, the quality of camera being used and the technique of the dental photographer. But don't be discouraged. You know, these people take years and years to perfect their talent and their skill of taking photos and understanding how light works and all that stuff. But we have to start from somewhere. So I would encourage you guys at the bare minimum to buy some appropriate dental photography equipment, which we'll talk about at the end of the lecture. But then maybe take a photo on a stone model or take a photo of a porcelain crown not in the patient's mouth. That's a great way to start. This photo I took, it was a single anterior tooth crown for you know, an older patient. And I think it's an awesome photo. I think I can show patients how a crown looks like with this photo, or I can use it for educational purposes. So I would encourage you guys to just start taking photos maybe outside the patient's mouth. Another photo I used for educational purposes, this was a cool one that I did where I'm holding 3 football diamond burrs. One is coarse, medium grit, and the other one's fine. And it just showed, I believe I was teaching to dental students the differences between the different grits on these football burrs. And then eventually you get to the point where you take photos inside people's mouth or doing procedural photos. This is an awesome photo that I took of a class 4 composite resin restoration on I believe an older lady, maybe around 80s or so. And you know, it's powerful. Is it the most perfect photo? Does it show, you know, a full smile photo? No. But it works. And you'd be surprised how many people I show this photo to, patients of mine that maybe they broke their tooth recently, and they immediately understand that this procedure is something I can do for them. And when they see this photo, they understand where my skill level is at and what I can do for them. So photos are really powerful, and it's just something that you have to start including in your practice. And let me take a little drink really quick. Hold on 1 second. So procedure videos. Procedure videos, in my opinion, are the wave of the future. And let me tell you why. Photography is so easily manipulated. So many people can doctor photos. They're good at using Photoshop. They're good at manipulating photos. And I believe our consumers and our patients understand this reality. It's becoming harder and harder to believe what we're seeing. Now with procedural videos, it's harder to manipulate a video content than an image content. So it's a little bit more transparent, it's a little bit more real, and I would imagine that in 10 to 15 years, it wouldn't be unrealistic to think that people may want to you know, have a video of their procedure because it's so transparent. So if we're going to talk about procedure videos, then we have to talk about what's the gold standard way of making a procedural dental video. And the best way to do it is going to be through a dental microscope. So I know a lot of you guys aren't going to be using a dental microscope in your practice, but if we're going to talk about videos, we have to talk about what the best way to do it is. So you can always attach a DSLR camera if you do have a microscope, attach a DSLR camera to a microscope, and that's the best way to film. It's the highest quality. It's very stable. Carl Zeiss is a company that has great optics, and they have a camera system within their microscope, and it's actually just incredible. I've seen the recordings that are done with the Carl Zeiss. So if you really want to get into recording, I would encourage you to purchase this bad boy, which will run probably over $20,000. So it's an expensive piece of equipment, but if you're into videos, I would encourage you getting that. This is a video that I recorded not with the Carl Zeiss, but with a dental microscope, and I attached a DSLR camera to it, and it's showing the veneer cementation protocol. Originally, this video was tailored towards dentists. This is actually using the Matt Najad technique that he taught in one of his courses. But this is tailored towards dentists, but you'd be surprised when I posted this on YouTube how many patients were getting it. And they were asking about, oh, what does that blue etchant do? What does the bonding do? And they're more curious than ever. So don't discount your patients. They want to know what's going on too. Now, if you don't have a microscope, why not consider recording with a camera? You don't need a dental microscope. These cameras have high enough quality image sensors or whatever, recording software, to do amazing recordings. And you don't have to do it in a patient's mouth. This video was done on a Typodon where I showed the procedure of restoring a broken tooth with a class 4 composite resin restoration, and I go over all the process. Now, I edited this video here for time, but it's about a 6-minute video. It goes over every single step. And once again, patients get it and they see the process. It proves your skill. And I would say that they're more likely to choose you as the practitioner to treat them rather than someone who doesn't have a video like this. Okay? So consider it. Now, there are a lot of, when you post videos online, you're going to get a lot of comments. And these comments are, once again, really helpful because they give you an idea of what patients are thinking about. I just screenshotted a couple comments from a video I made about the difference between crowns and veneers. And it's kind of interesting. Some people are saying, what's stronger, veneers or crowns? Some people are saying, let's see, can you get veneers at any dentist? Or is there a special dentist who does it? So you would imagine that if someone's asking this, there's got to be 10 other people, if not a lot more, that are asking the same question. So people are wondering, do we need to go to a special dentist to get veneers? That's a good thing to know. So maybe your patients in your practice don't know that you offer veneers as a service. Do veneers help with bad breath? I'm not sure if that might be a troll comment or it might be a real comment. Do veneers help with bad breath? So maybe these are questions people are asking. And as people comment, you get to understand more and more what the general population think about dentistry and what their actual questions are. So it's really helpful. And then lastly, for building authority, it's educational content. It's hard because when I look at the news today and I'm reading all these articles from various news sources, I don't know what to believe anymore. There's no reality, and it's scary and it's kind of hard. And the same thing goes for dental information on the World Wide Web. There's a lot of people getting their information from people that are not dentists who maybe don't really know what they're talking about. So I feel like it's our responsibility as dentists to, put content out there. We've spent 4 years of training at a higher level of education. We need to educate our local communities and we need to put content out there that is real and that will help people understand what dentistry is all about. So I would just once again implore you guys to consider doing that. This is a video that I made just going over the indications between a crown and veneer. And I posted this video up and it's filmed in my backyard with a DSLR camera, but there's no reason why you can't just use your iPhone camera and just film yourself and talk about whatever you want to talk about that your local community is asking for, whatever questions they may have. And it's a powerful video. And a funny story about this video, I've used this video like 10 times for people that are considering the differences between veneers and crowns, or people that may want to have changed their smile. And when they're in the chair, sometimes we feel rushed. There's a hygienist check appointment next door, or another patient is coming in soon and you need to dismiss the patient that is in your chair right now. And usually what happens is we're in a rush. We go over the information really quickly. We say, think about it, and we dismiss them. And that's kind of a disservice. Instead, why don't you make a video comprehensively going over whatever you want to go over, and then you can send the video out to the patient when they're done. So an example of this, if a patient comes in and they're having, they're interested in crowns and veneers, send them home, shoot out this link. This is what I would do. I just send out a link of this video and they would watch it. And the next day they would usually have an answer. And they would say, hey, Dr. Sammy, I watched your video and I now really understand what you're talking about. and I want to do 6 crowns on the front teeth, or I want to do a full mouth reconstruction, or whatever it may be. So once again, videos are really powerful, and that's another reason why you need to consider making more videos. Now, if you don't want to put yourself on video and you don't want to do dental photography, you can write. There's no reason why we shouldn't have our own website or our own blogs that we can, write about whatever we want to write about. It's so easy nowadays to make a website and a blog. You can look at YouTube tutorials to do it, or I can tell you guys how to do it. I'll leave my contact, after this video is done. So it's a really easy thing to do, and I would definitely encourage you guys, at the bare minimum, to start writing. Okay. Actionable advice. So occasionally in this lecture, I'm going to put out some actionable advice. It'll have like an orange-red background. So identify your purpose. Figure out what is the purpose of your channel. Why are you growing it? What do you want after 5 to 10 years? Okay, are you selling to dentists? Are you selling to patients? Or you just want to connect with people? So what's your purpose? Take 1 photo a day. If you want to get into dental photography, what you need to do is you need to get yourself some good equipment and then just take 1 photo a day. Eventually, it's going to be so easy and you won't even know it. And you'll be taking photos left and right, and then that's going to be a practice builder. And then educational opportunities. Every place is different. So what does your local community want? Are they just looking for healthy gums and teeth? Is your local community mainly into cosmetics and they really want to know about veneers? Is your local community all about family and just, maintaining the family relationships? Whatever it is, discover what your local community is all about. Discover what questions they're asking you when they're in the chair and they're talking to you, and then make a video addressing their concerns and their questions. And I think you'll be surprised at how impactful that will be to other people that may be looking for a dentist in the future. Connecting with others. Okay, let me get another little sip. Hold on 1 second. Okay, connecting with others is another powerful thing that's going on nowadays. So with COVID-19, we have our N95 mask, and then a level 1 mask on top of that, and then our dental loops. Oh, and then our visor that goes over that. Oh, I forgot the surgical cap. So, it's so hard to connect with people when we look like this. And especially with social distancing, it's becoming harder and harder to connect with our local communities. So how do we do that? Through social media. And there's 3 main ways to do that. We're going to talk about humanizing the dentist, engaging local businesses, and sharing your journey. So humanizing the dentist, this is my mother, and she's been in practice for 33 years, and this is what my patients expect to see when they walk in the door, or what they expected to see back in the day. A nice smiling face, compassionate, social, and just a friendly person. And now what they see is something more like this. This is kind of a scary look. Now, this isn't my mother. This is my wife dressed up all in her PPE. But man, if going to the dentist was scary before COVID-19, it's going to be really scary after COVID-19. I would be scared going to this dentist. So how do we break that barrier? How do we connect with our patients? How do we make them feel comfortable? So how do we connect? Well, it's not that hard. This is what my mother does with her social media account. She never had any accounts maybe until a couple years ago. And now once in a while she starts posting photos. She understands the importance of it. So she just likes to post photos of what she likes to do. So for her, it's being in nature, going for a hike. And she'll post a photo like this on her Instagram account. And she'll say, "Hello again. We hope that you're all safe, healthy, and doing well. We have been away from our practice for way too long." And then he writes whatever she wants to write about. And it's a way to connect. And I think she's very relatable, and she does it very, very well without even thinking about it, to be honest. Another one on Facebook, 21-mile bike ride. I need my emoji back. I need my job back. Emoji hands, right? Or prayer hands. Time off feels a lot better when it is a break after hard work. It will be more earned and well-deserved. I mean, that's a really relatable thing that she's saying. And she's just speaking from her heart. And once again, people relate, and she gets patients that are commenting on her photos, and it's just another way to connect with people. And here's just a final one. I'm the luckiest person to have the best daughter-in-law, colleague, and friend. Love this angel. So you start to get an idea of who she is and her personality. And, in dentistry, we are in a profession where we work with people closely. So I think it's important to give an idea of who you are, what your personality is, what your values are during the course of your career. Of course, there is a place for privacy, and where you want to be private is going to be up to you. But to some degree, we have to share our life, I think, with our people. Okay? Engaging local businesses. So, before COVID-19, we had a Thai place next door to our office, and I would go get the most amazing green curry, spicy. My sinuses would go crazy when I ate it. And I loved the place when it opened up. And when it opened up and I was eating there, I would tell all my patients, man, the Thai food here is amazing. Go here, go here, go here, And I swear, I gave these people so much business because of my sincere and authentic recommendation for the food. But what's amazing is what happened is eventually they started sending people my way. They're saying, hey, this dentist is amazing. Dr. Sami is kind, compassionate. His patients love him. And then we get new patients from them. So having a relationship with local businesses is really powerful as you grow your practice. And there's also a way to do that through social media. So another example, food example, of course, is Umami down in San Marcos area. It's another place I love their sushi. And why not maybe leave a comment on their post, like mine on the right? It says, I freaking love your sushi. Fire emoji, sushi roll emoji. Businesses will be so happy that you're engaging with their accounts. Restaurants know how powerful social media is. And you'd be surprised at what will happen next. They may, in their story, put a story about you. Or they might tag you, or they might comment on your information. And when you do that through social media, it's powerful because then businesses might send patients your way. So that's a way to do it. Also on Instagram story, if you guys have Instagram, you can do these tags where you tag the company. So you can say at Umami North City. And when you do this, if you click on that tag, it will direct you to their Instagram page. So, this is another, and it will let the company notify them that, you tagged them too. So I think, engaging with local businesses is really powerful. And there is definitely a way to do that through social media, by commenting, by engaging on their pages, by showing your authentic support for the businesses that you truly like. And I think you'd be surprised at how it comes back to you as well. Okay? And then finally, sharing your journey, whatever that journey might be. So, some people, they're into fitness, maybe they're training for a marathon. Share the journey to where you get to a point where you can run an amazing marathon. For us personally, our journey is building a new practice. And we're building it from the ground up. We're expanding because currently our practice has only 4 chairs and we have 3 dentists. Obviously, that's not enough room. So we're building a practice from scratch. My daughter's an architect, so she's doing the design work. And, you'd be surprised when you share your journey. I made this video I posted on YouTube, and we send it to our patients too. And all these patients are like, wow, that's amazing. Oh, I can't wait to go to that new practice. Oh, are you going to design it this way? Are you going to design it that way? Oh, I'm going to stay tuned into what you're doing. I mean, think about that. Normally, when you move from one practice or one location to another location, there's always going to be some drop off of patients merely by moving locations. Not to some degree, because no one likes change, right? But by making videos, sharing the journey, by getting your patients involved in the process, they're more likely to, might even be more excited about the move, which is a crazy thought, So that's why we did it, and I would definitely encourage you guys to share your own journey, whatever it may be. Okay. Another thing that I did on Instagram for dentists mainly was to share my floor plans with everyone. But you'd be surprised. There's patients too that want to look at the floor plans. There's people in the creative space that want to see the designs, that have their opinions, that want to share it with us, which is awesome. It's awesome to get people engaged in what you're making and the content you're doing. And another way that we're sharing our journey, for example, this was taken about 4 weeks ago when the whole COVID thing was, becoming more and more real. And we got our first visor in the mail. And patients were asking, oh, is that what you're going to be required to wear? Why do you guys need a visor? And it's just, it eliminates confusion. You're interacting, you're communicating with your patients. And the more you have clear communication with your patients or with whoever you're trying to connect with, I think the better it is for everyone. Okay. Finally, I just want to share one other thing for Instagram posts. Like if you do a post that's really funny or shareable, like this one, I made a skit about COVID-19 with my wife. We got 64 shares on the video, 21 highlights, and 63 comments. And it's just another great way to engage with people. 64 shares. That means someone copied this link and they sent it to 64 people, or it's been shared 64 times. That's a crazy thought. So consider getting on these social media platforms because it will grow your practice. Okay, let me take a little sip. Hold on. Actionable advice. Share a passion. Share a passion, whatever passion it may be, whether it's hiking, whether it's biking, whether it's, rock climbing, or it doesn't even have to be fitness related. It can be, maybe you're a creative person, you make videos. Share your passion and you'd be surprised at how many people will relate to that. Tag a local business. Maybe next time you're at a restaurant, especially now when they're suffering because of this whole coronavirus thing, one way to support them is going to be to tag and share that you're at the restaurant, that their food is great or whatever. So tag a local business on social media and write an update post. There's no excuse to not updating people about what's going on, especially with dentistry when there's changes every single day. I talk to my family every night and we're like, okay, these are the changes that happen. And there's like hundreds of them. So write an update post, share it with your community, and people will be very appreciative of that. Okay, we're coming to the close of the lecture. So a couple other things I want to mention. Supplemental income. So we can't have a conversation about social media without talking about how it can generate revenue outside of the physical dentistry you provide. So supplemental income, there are 4 ways to make money through social media outside of the dentistry. There's Google Adsense, affiliate marketing, brand relationships, and speaking engagements. So Google AdSense. Google AdSense is when you see advertisements, like let's say you're making a YouTube video or you're watching a YouTube video and you see a little ad that pops up where it says, oh, skip after 5 seconds. So that ad generates a form of revenue to the person who's producing the content as well as YouTube itself. So that's a way that you can generate revenue. And you can also do it through websites too. If you see those little pop-up ads on websites, those annoying ones, that generates a little bit of revenue too. So just an example. This is an example of one video I made about 2 years ago, I believe, or it looks to be about 1.5 years ago. And the video generates a certain amount of views. The views have been going up. And since I made it, I made about $212 from that one singular video. So if you make content that's really valuable that a lot of people can relate to, or it's educational or it's shareable, whatever it is, there's a way to make money off of people just watching the video. And that's Google AdSense, okay? I just started this a week ago and put it on my website. So these are those little ads that people place on websites. Some people overdo it, but you can get, $1 a day. Or if you have an amazing, powerful website, some people get, $500 a day if you're generating a lot of views. So just another thing to consider. I know this doesn't apply to everyone, but if you're building a website or if you're building a YouTube channel, or now Instagram, IGTV is also paying their content creators for putting content out there. It's another way that you can generate revenue, which will help you in the long run. Okay. Affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing is when people give links where their own recommended links, and let's say like it leads to an Amazon site, and then someone purchases your recommended link, you get a commission off of off of the purchase. And it's usually a very small commission, but it's another way that people that are on social media that are doing it very well make money. Okay, so yeah. And finally, brand relationships. So there are a lot of brand relationships in dentistry, and one of the people that do it really well is the Wear Figs company. You see a lot of these dentists dancing and wearing the Figs scrubs, nurses, doctors, and all of these people typically have some type of brand relationship with the company, and they get paid a certain amount to promote the Figs company. I believe this is going to be more of a thing in the future. You know, it's not unreasonable if you have a video that maybe like of a dental chair and you're saying you love this dental chair, that the company doesn't supply you with 5 dental chairs. You know, and that could be worth upwards of $50,000, but to the company it's not worth as much as that. So anyways, there is a whole thing about brand relationships, and there's a way to contact these companies. And if you guys want to know more about that, it's a more of an advanced concept, so you can always contact me with my email that I'll put at the end of the lecture. One thing I did, I made a video about dental loops earlier. I don't know when this was. It says a year ago, but I think it was about like 2 or maybe even 2.5 years ago. And I just wanted to explain to people what are the things you need to consider when you're buying dental loops. So I made a video, and the video got 24,000 views. It's a major hit. And eventually I wanted a new pair of loops. So I contacted Surgitel, and I originally wanted like 8x magnification, which by the way was a little bit too strong for me. And then there was a relationship where they sent me 2 pairs of their loops, and I made a video. So that was kind of cool. A brand relationship where we both benefited. I got what I wanted, their pair of loops, and then they got some promotion from my video. So that's another example of a brand relationship. Speaking engagements, you know, when you post stuff on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, people are going to discover you, and you might have the opportunity to do speaking engagements. And I've been doing that for the past year as well. Actionable advice, sign up for Amazon affiliates. So this applies to people that are already well in their journey in social media and they have a big following. You should sign up for Amazon affiliates. And identify brand relationships. So what are some brand relationships that would benefit both you and that brand? So think about it, write it down. That would be some actionable advice. Getting started. Okay, finally, last few topics. Getting started. So identify your platform. What platform are you going to choose to focus on mainly? And then choosing your equipment. So there are a variety of platforms out there. There's Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, YouTube. I mean, the list goes on and on. So what platform do you want to focus on? Once again, I'm going to go over a few people that do it really well. So on Instagram is mainly a very visual platform. A lot of photos are posted here, and it's getting more into videos too. The person who does it, in my opinion, one of the best person that does it on Instagram is Dr. Rubenstein. He's a dentist up in New York. He works with his mother, I believe, his father, who's a dentist. Both of them are dentists, and his brother, who I believe is a periodontist, but don't quote me on that. And he does it really well. Like, he does a little lifestyle, some dancing, but he will also do these, cool clinical videos. And in this one, he's showing a veneer trying appointment, and it's really powerful. You know, when you look at him trying in all the veneers and crowns, it's really, really powerful to see. So, you know, he has a targeted purpose. He does a lot of veneers. At least that's what I see on his Instagram account. And he does it really well. So I'd encourage you guys to follow Dr. Rubenstein. Another guy that does it really well, the braces guy. He's on TikTok. He has 1.8 million followers. I mean, how crazy is that? And TikTok is maybe a little bit of a younger platform, but it's becoming an older platform. And he does videos like this, where he'll just, he's using Tiger King. That's a popular Netflix show. And then doing different colors from Tiger King on his braces models. It's really entertaining. He's generating a huge following, and people are sharing his content. And I guarantee you there are kids that are really excited to see him where he's at. And on YouTube, Innovative Dental of Springfield, this is a guy that is once again just killing it. He did a full mouth dental restoration live. I mean, that's really scary, but I don't even know how he did it. I think he had a DSLR camera mounted on the top of the ceiling, focused on the teeth, and he's doing a full mouth reconstruction. He's showing the full procedure from beginning to end. This is the future. You know, if I was a patient and I was interested in getting veneer work done and I saw a video from beginning to end and I'm about to drop, $10,000 to $20,000 on it, that's what I want to see. I want to see the doctor's skill, his expertise, and I want to see the whole process. Maybe that's not for everyone, but I think that's the wave of the future. A little bit about how to post the content. We don't have a lot of time, right? We're very busy with what we do. So you can either train someone internally, like train one of your staff to maybe start posting on social media. Gary Vee has this concept where you make one long form of video content and then you chop it up and you put the little smaller versions of that same video on the different platforms. So just an example would be, let's say I make a long YouTube video about a procedure or whatever it is, and then I can take the audio and I can put that on a podcast, or I can chop up a few clips and put that on Instagram, or maybe I can do some special editing and take a 15-second segment of that long video and put that on TikTok. So that's a way to get your feet wet on all the platforms, but you are going to have to decide what is the main platform you want to focus on because we have so little time on our hands. And choosing your equipment. So if you're going to get into photography, I would recommend getting a DSLR camera. I'm just going to show you my setup. So I have a D7500 camera. I have an 85mm lens. I don't have the dual ring flash system, but that's what I recommend. Dual flash system. I have a ring flash system. You want dual flash because you want different direction of light source reflecting off the teeth, and you can even put a soft box on those lights to soften the light. It just makes it look more pretty when you take the photo. Photography consent, you always want to have a photography consent form for the patients signed before, if you're going to take photos and share them on social media, because privacy is a real thing. But you'd be surprised, a lot of patients that I do these, veneers for, or like a big procedures. At the end, I just say, hey, look, this was awesome results. And there are a lot of people that have the same story as you that want a smile makeover. Do you mind if I share the photos? And I have yet to have someone to say no. Most people, they want to help other people out that are in the same situation as them. So I know it's kind of scary to ask people these type of questions, but there's a way to do it. And I can help you guys with that too. So yeah, and then in terms of video recording, this is my video recording setup. I have a Rode microphone that has the best audio. It's attached to a DSLR camera. I have a screen that's faced towards me so I can make sure I'm in focus. And then I have a lens that is kind of ultra wide. So I can get very close to me and I can adjust the lens to focus myself. And that's my setup. And it's worked really well for me. But there's no reason why you can't use an iPhone camera or smaller devices. I'm actually recording right now on the Blue Yeti microphone, so you guys can judge the audio quality of the microphone. And then I use Final Cut Pro for my editing software for videos. So I'm going to end on this. Certainty is the enemy of growth and high performance. One of my favorite quotes, I always put it in my lectures. It's scary to start growing on social media. Dealing with hate comments is a real thing that can happen. Do people really care what you have to say? I would argue yes. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes some time, but it's really powerful, and I think it will help you guys grow your practices into something special. Okay? If you guys need to contact me, that's my email, sami@smileinfluencers.com. I would encourage you, you guys are already on the YouTube channel, so I would imagine that you're already subscribed. Subscribe, like, share the video if you found it useful. I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to me. I may have talked kind of fast. I hope I got some clear concepts across. And if you guys ever need to, if you want to reach out to me, just reach out to me. And and I'll definitely share with you guys what I think. Okay, so thank you for listening and watching this video, and I'll see you for the next one. Have a good one.